cycling webinar. On the series of these lecture, we have the very cute sports personality. There is no need of the introduction. Jasmin Arethna is today is with us, and her name is enough in the field of cycling. And whenever we decide this topic, women and cycling, let it be there. So I realize that nobody is better than her, which she can justify with the topic. And because of she spent so many years in the track with blood and sweat. So I see her. She's my training partner so many times. She's with me from 1985 to 1990. I see her with so many times. She can, I see her hard work, and she's inspiration for me also and the other people. So without wasting any time, much more time, we are actually, I am already busy with the dissertation with the Viva vocal exam for the other candidates who are passing out the national NIS Patiala. So due to the COVID-19, we are all the system, we worked on the computers and the webinar and so in the series of this, so this webinar is also be on this. So thank you very much to be joined with us. And now I request Jasmin, come and start your lecture. Please, Jasmin. Yes.
Yeah. Competitive cycling, even sport. And honestly, even today, it still is a difficult sport considering the speed, the technicalities, the equipment, the expense. It still remains an expensive sport, a difficult sport. So let's talk about it a little bit. I would like to start with some of the prominent women cyclists of India of the non-digital area. Because kind of, you know,
hello,
unfortunately,
Jasmin,
one thing I would like to say, friends, there are many, many more women.
Jasmin?
Yes, yes, I can.
थोड़ा सा अपना वॉल्यूम थोड़ा ठीक कर लीजिए. वॉल्यूम इज नॉट क्लियर. आवाज के नेटवर्क थोड़ा प्रॉब्लम आ रहा है आपका.
All right. Can others hear me clearly? If you can you just give a thumbs up if others can hear me clearly? Yes? No? Okay. Can you just say Can you hear me better? Is that better?
सर जैस्मिन वॉइस ब्रेकिंग हो रहा है थोड़ा सा. नेटवर्क स्ट्रॉन्ग कर लीजिए. Improve your network so I can receive the messages from the participants.
All right.
Yes. So थोड़ा network strong कर लीजिए.
Okay.
अभी थोड़ा ठीक है.
All right. Okay. All right. So I wanted to start with the prominent cyclists of India of the non-digital area. And can you guess who this is? Extremely inspirational because she's a lady who was a mother. She had 2 children. She went for nationals. She was a national champion earlier, married to another national champion. And her son is the national champion in masters category for 2018. She's Mrs. Zareen Palkhiwala from 1957. And that you have a mother and their 2 children participating at the nationals. Really amazing. I've yet to see that in India. This is Mrs. Zareen Palkhiwala now. She is a grandmother. Who this cute little girl is? She's from West Bengal. She started cycling at around 10 years of age. She has 21 national titles, really wonderful. And she rode at the time of Mr. Amar Singh Billing, Bakumal, Adi Havewala. And she said her biggest event was that she participated in the Indian Olympics in Cuttack. And that was where they tried to simulate the Olympic field in India. It was like a national games, right? And
Jasmin,
they were first, second in
Jasmin,
the road race.
voice is very much interrupted. Jasmin, why your voice is very much interrupted.
Is it
Voice
better?
is not clear.
Can you hear me? Avtar, can you hear me? Are you able to hear me?
Now it's okay. Now it's okay.
If all right.
Now we can hear you. Now we can hear you. Mute on red nahi ho.
If the other participants can just confirm whether they can hear or not. If they can just give a thumbs up or a thumbs down to confirm if it's audible.
Yes, I can hear you.
All right. Okay. And more people can hear. Are you able to hear? Yes or no? Okay. All right. Okay. All right. So this is Shikha Sen, the Sen sisters from West Bengal. And this is Shikha Sen now, who is still fit, viciously hitting the table tennis racket to the ball, and with her husband, Mr. Ikram Singh. Can you guess who this of four sisters? 8 years consecutive national champion in 1 kilometer time trial. First woman cyclist to receive the Arjuna Award in 1980. Minoti Mahapatra from Odisha. And this is Minoti receiving her Arjuna here today. Still practicing, still working out, still keeping fit and participating in various sports events to manage them. All right, now who do you think this is? A young, demure national champion from Punjab. She basically was a very good pursuiter, a national level pursuiter from 1976 to 1982. And she is now a deputy commissioner of police, an IAS officer. Amrit Grewal. So all those of you who have cycled with her, it would be good for you to see them again. Avtar, I'm not able to read. Please. Avtar, I'm not able to read. Okay.
Jasmin, could you please switch off all the other electronic gadgets at your homes? If this will improve your voice, it is not coming very clear.
All switched off.
Other
they
gadgets.
Are switched off. Yes, all other gadgets are switched.
Okay, please go ahead.
Slim lass from Bombay. She has a silver at Asian Cycling Championship. Bronze at Asian Cycling Championships. and her sister also got medals at Asian
Jasmin
Cycling
Arethna.
Championships, and both sisters were famous for being coached by their father.
Hi,
And
Jasmin.
this person is Jasmin Arethna, somebody who I am in touch with every day, probably 5 times a day. The first Jasmin Arethna, yes, the first Indian woman to win a medal at Asian level. Highly commendable. She did a timing of 1 minute 20, intricately done and depicting really well done, Armin. That was wonderful. This is her coach, Mr. Karambir Singh, who she always remembers very fondly and says, thanks to him that he understood the condition of my body because she had just gone through a bout of malaria, and yet he helped her to perform her best. So this is Armin now. She's a senior librarian in USA for many years now. And this is her receiving the Arjuna Award from Mr. Gyani Zail Singh in 1984. Okay, so no need to guess over here. A little bit about myself.
I'll
I have, I'll just give you a little information about myself so that you understand that what I am going to talk to you next probably is out of good experience. So I have 34 national titles. Out of 34, 33 are individual titles. We never really had a team from Maharashtra. It was just Armin and myself. So 33 national titles are all individual titles. I have 3 Asian medals that you see in the center. And I was given the Shiv Chhatrapati Award, which is the highest award for sports in Maharashtra. And I was adjudged the best sportswoman of the national games in 1985. This was a real surprise because in that national games, there were stalwarts of Indian sports like P.T. Usha, Shiny Wilson, Khazan Singh, and very, very big names who had participated. And basically my points were very high, and because I got all the goals possible, and I had 2 national records. So this was quite a surprise overall for cycling fraternity. So this is me at the Asian level getting my 2 bronze medals over here. And my 3rd bronze medal was at the Asian Cycling Championships in team pursuit. On the right side, you see the team of girls. We are a mix of, one is from Manipur, one is from Kerala, one is from Maharashtra, and one is from Andaman Nicobar Islands. I'd just like to share with you that Deepa, who was part of the team, she is now a pilot, a very senior captain in Air India, and this is her. After very many years, I got a chance to get her photographs in action. So this is Fatehjung, who is known as Django in the cycling world. Fatehjung and me, and this is Jab we met at the Asian Games in Beijing in 1990. Now coming to the actual part of cycling in India. So according to a survey, by the age of 14, girls are dropping out of sports, twice the rate of boys. And by the age of 17, after most girls have gone through puberty, more than half of them will have quit sports. So it's a very shocking number. It's a good survey, a very shocking number, that how many children will kind of just drop out of sports, especially girls. In India, quitting sport could be due to academic pressure where they feel nahi padhai karna hai. Or it could be due to the financial constraints, financial pressure that I cannot afford, extra money to go into your sports activities. Or it could be to the typical mindset that we have. we Indian parents have, that no, you should focus on a typical professional future. So the challenges of women in sport, and especially in cycling, is the physiological. We'll just start with the physiological and psychological constraints. Why so many people drop off, why so many people do not participate or leave sport halfway. It could be due to the high level of anxiety. Yes, when you participate, when you're taking part in races, competing, practice is one part of it. And when you compete, then the anxiety, the stress goes higher. And some people may not be able to handle it. Honestly, it's a wonderful way of learning how to handle pressure from a young age, of how to handle stress, how to handle competition, how to be ready for competing. So it's a good way, but some people are not able to handle it and probably are not guided well how to handle it. Everyone goes through that anxiety, but how do you handle it? Higher level of competitiveness and may kind of make your family feel that you're getting a little aggressive and overconfident. That might be another issue. Or it could be lack of self-confidence, that, oh, others are too good, I'm not good enough. It could be the lack of motivation. We need a lot of motivation in India. Honestly, motivation is required every event, every day, to get up, get out of bed and do those grueling miles on that thin, hard seat of your cycle. And to hesitate to participate during menstrual periods. So that also kind of shies girls away from it. Apart from that, you also have social and religious constraints. It could be the typical attitude towards sports by a community or by a society. It could be the religious beliefs where you're not permitting girls to train or socialize sportswear. Parents wanting to avoid their teenage daughters from socializing and training in group with boys and men. And the biggest, most important constraint is, unfortunately, the economic constraint. This really kind of, I would say, women are not encouraged because of economic and financial difficulties. And constraints like economic feasibility by family or no sponsors often results in termination from sports participation. As I said, cycling is a very expensive sport. It's a difficult sport. So definitely economic constraint plays a part over here. So this is so often that you hear, and especially for a cyclist, being a girl, no, you can't do this because you're a girl. You can't go for early morning practice alone because it's dangerous. How will I know how far you are, what the traffic is like, what if you have an accident, what if you're kind of, injured and nobody's there to help you? Or how will you travel alone for interstate camps? How do I keep in touch with you? Please keep in mind, I'm talking about our situation 30 years ago. And you can't wear shorts as your training dress. So I want to just emphasize on this fact. The fact that the girl has reached national level means she has surpassed all these difficulties through a huge amount of perseverance and commitment. So how I started competitive cycling. So I have my story to share. Well, fortunately for me, I had a lot of family support, and my family was different compared to the kind of, we were fortunate not to have any economic constraint, or we were fortunate to have guidance from our parents. So how I started cycling was, one day my uncle, my chacha or my kaka, whatever you may call it in north or south of India. So he comes and tells Armin that there's this cycling event and you must participate. Armin participates and comes first. And after that, he says, okay, so next is state championship. And she participates in state championship, practices, does well, comes first again. And when they started cycling, then slowly my cousin brothers came and started cycling. My chacha was also coming for practice together. Later on, even my dad started cycling. So it was our entire family who was participating in cycling. We had conversations only regarding cycling at home. And I, as a young preteen, constantly hearing about all the training and the rigors of it, I was so inclined towards it that finally, when I got a chance at the age of 13, I participated in my first nationals, and I kind of had a complete sweep in under 14 and under 16 with all goals possible. So that was my start. So very important for training is your commitment and passion. Commitment from the coach as well as commitment from the trainee. For commitment from the coach, I have my story to share. One is from my parents. My parents basically were interested not in cycling. Let me just clear that out. My parents were not interested in cycling. My parents were interested in their children. They were interested in whatever the children were doing. So what we were interested in became their interest and their participation, continual participation. While my father was actively participating in the coaching, in the financing, in the training, in the mechanical side, my mother was silently handling all the rest, recovery, the nutrition, always worried every time, the time we stepped out for practice, till the time we came back home, always worried, hoping that things were fine on the road. And then I had an excellent commitment, a kind of commitment level, honestly, that I have not seen. It's difficult to see when you're having group trainings. So I saw it from the Russian coach that we had a good chance to experience for a few years. And Mr. Vitas Zuberinus, he had immense discipline, something that we Indians really need to work upon. Immense discipline. He was never late for any session. He never missed any session. I am surprised in so many days, day after day, in so many sessions, sometimes 2 or 3 times a day we had training. He was never late. He was never absent. How did he never fall sick? I still wonder. He never sat during our training sessions. If we were cycling for 3 hours on the velodrome, 4 hours on the velodrome, he was constantly monitoring each and every cyclist. Very difficult when you're so many cyclists together, very difficult to do. That was an excellent learning. And when your coaches are so committed, so disciplined, you are ashamed to be indisciplined. You are obligated to be committed, and you're obligated to do your best. So I guess it goes 2 ways to your passion and commitment from both sides. All right, I have included 2 photographs over here where you see the spectator stands are completely empty. Now, this was the case of cycling. We didn't have any spectators. The only spectators out there was the family. And maybe the children. Very funny story that I have to share with you is that for our Maharashtra State Championship, whenever we had the state championships, we had to assemble at 7 o'clock in the morning. And the first thing we would do was we would broom the track, because the track was used for exhibitions, marriage occasions, big parties, political parties, and it had glass pieces and mud and stones and all kinds of garbage on it. So every time, 7 o'clock in the morning, we had to sweep the track clean, and then we would, participants would be confident of riding on a clean and clear track. So less pictures. But still, what I mean to say is, yes, we did that commitment and passion continued in spite of kind of, seeing empty stands and those other additional activities in cycling. Family support. Family support is a big, big, big pillar of strength. And there was no way that Armin or I could have been able to do anything without family support. So my father also at his own expense accompanied me everywhere. Not easy when you have to take leave from work and you have to train your children every day. Really not easy thing to do. Kind of for years, we never went out for any parties, any functions, any restaurants, because all our effort, our money, our finances was only towards cycling as a sport. So really hats off to my parents for supporting us so selflessly. And it is very important for coaches to talk regularly to the family, to update them to the child's progress, so the family gets involved and can also start seeing some sort of appreciation. Can we mute the others, please? There is some voices that I can hear. So it's very important for coaches to keep in touch with the family and update them of their child's progress. It's indeed very exhilarating for the family. Otherwise, they keep wondering that it's a waste of time and just get out of sport and do some seedhi saadi naukri. Training then and now. What kind of training we had earlier? So here also there are two stages in my life where we as a family, we struggled on our own because it was a new sport for us. We didn't know how to train. So there was overtraining, there was burnout, we would peak at the incorrect time, there would be injuries. So it was something that we learned through trial and error. And then there was systematic training in the camps, where I would like to share with you that earlier when we trained, it was only cycling. And when we came to camps, then it was that we have started having all-round training. We were included with other games to play, non-cycling games, swimming, basketball, volleyball, handball. A lot of running was included uphill with heavy stones in our hands as part of your endurance and strength building. Our endurance sessions changed completely. What we used to think that, oh, we are doing great endurance sessions of 40, 50 kilometers. The Russian coach just doubled that. He doubled it so easily and we had to sweat it out. So we were doing, girls, women were doing 80, 90 kilometers, 100 kilometers, 110 kilometers. The longest I have done in training is 120 kilometers in one session. And apart from that, we would have training twice or thrice a day. These were things that were completely new for us. It was a whole different level. He had been with the sports committee who had trained Omaras. I wonder if you remember Omaras, who was the Olympic champion from Lithuania in 1984, pursuit champion. And so with these other training sessions, we also had a lot of weightlifting, which I have a very interesting story to share. One morning, Mr. Vitas came and said that, okay, so today there's no cycling. So we were very happy. Wow, no cycling, it's rest day. He said, no, you're having a weightlifting session and it's going to be your maximum lifting session today. So we started with the maximum lifting session, and the thing was that we had to lift the maximum that we could, be it for our leg muscles, be it for our calves, thighs, back, arms, biceps, triceps, every muscle and every body part. We had to lift the maximum and show. Don't think it was easy. It was a bloody tough session. And the thing was that competing with other cyclists, it became highly competitive. If I lifted about, say, 100 pounds in a certain exercise, then Sunita would come and say, oh, I'm going to now lift 105. I'm going to try this. And if Sunita lifted 105, I would say, oh, I need one more trial. I'm going to lift 110. And somebody else would come and say, oh, I'm going to do 120. I can, I'm sure I can. And it went on and on and on. And instead of 2-3 hours, this session went on for one full day. And next morning, nobody turned up for the practice session. We couldn't get up. Our muscles were screaming, crying for peace and rest and recovery and maafi. and I could not even lift my toothbrush to brush my teeth. So now there are two parts to the training. So you have, that was about my sharing from the camps. Now training on your own in the hometown is different, where you have home benefits, but it's difficult to train on your own. And secondly is the training in camps, where you have a lot more cyclists. As I said, the competition between every session gets so high. Every practice session becomes like a race. Everyone wants to go faster, and Russian coach is trying to kind of say, boys, girls, no, be steady, keep one speed. And if it was raining, there would be hesitation to ride in the rain because it's difficult. And he said, no, it's part of your training, you have to. And the best statement that he would say, boys, girls, you know made of sugar, you know melt, you practice. So that was a real funny statement, and it kept us going. Regarding camps, I would like to share my story of staying in the dormitory. When we were staying in the Yamuna cycling velodrome, we were 18 cyclists put up in one dormitory. 18 cyclists put up in one dormitory. We had 2 toilets, 2 bathrooms. And you can imagine, every day the queue would never end, whether be it for toilet or for bathroom. I never managed to bathe in hot water. I hardly got a chance to wash my clothes. So these were the difficulties we faced. We had only 2 coolers to keep you going through the heat of summer. And in that dormitory, we had just beds. We had no cupboards, no shelves. So we had to keep all our belongings in the suitcase under our beds. I really wonder how I went through it, how we all went through it. It was difficult. It wasn't easy when I see it now, but it happens due to commitment and passion. So that is very important to have and to build up commitment and passion. So this is for the coaches who have joined us today. As a coach, it is important to explain your training program, explain and the goals to the cyclist. Take regular feedback from the cyclists, how her muscles are feeling during and after the session. Be able to understand the psychology and the nature of your trainee and encourage her accordingly. There will be some who will be very kind of confident and some who will be very quiet. So you need to know how to use your stories of encouragement for according to the nature, because if you shout at somebody who is not used to kind of taking a firing, it might work differently. So it's best to work how the child psychology or the teenager psychology works. Girls are shy, may not be today, but yes, we girls were shy and may not communicate readily. And motivation and awareness. Motivation is so important every day. When you're training so much, when you're, there are so many times when you would feel that your body is not fit today and you want to kind of, just let it go. That motivation is what keeps you going. I have a very cute story to share about in 1980 at the Nationals, Bombay Nationals, when Armin won her national titles. Mr. Avtar Singh, he came to my father and he said, may I have your postal address, please? I have a surprise for Armin. And the surprise was that he subscribed for us a sport magazine, Sport in the USSR. I remember that. And it talked about the sports athletes, it talked about their life, their training, their photographs, illustrations. And it was so motivating for us to go through it. And I wonder how he even thought of that. A very small act, but we really appreciate it. Thank you so much, Avtar, for doing what you did in a time when information about the rest of the world was not available. And it was like we were on our own in India. So that was a wonderful gesture, a wonderful, I would say, a foresight, a very progressive thought that this would help keeping the person engaged in cycling. So along with the challenges in training and whatever other challenges we have, one of the things that we need to concentrate on is food and nutrition. Particularly very important for women to have extra iron and vitamins during their monthly menstruation periods because they lose a lot of iron at that time. And just certain pointers like iron in tandem with vitamin C increase the absorption in the body, or calcium is best had in the morning when you start your activity to facilitate maximum absorption. So these little tips for nutrition just makes it great nutrition. And it's important for coaches to follow up, you know, whether they are having good food or not, because without good food, believe it or not, if the athlete is determined, training will go on. Athlete will keep practicing day in, day out. But when fuel is absent, the body is going to draw on your muscles. It'll start eating away from your muscles and you start losing your muscle mass. That is definitely not required when you're into sport. So food is constantly supplementing, constantly nourishing, constantly helping in recovering and helping your muscles to grow. So my story to share about the food at the mess in camps. So, you know, there was this, we had the typical menu and we had a menu of dal, chawal, roti, sabji, dahi, whatever. In that, we had rajma, chawal every day, and we had a particular mutton curry every day. This we would have twice a day, every day of the week, 30 days of the month, 365 days of the year, and probably year after year. And there came a point when I could not even look at that food. I had started detesting that food. I could not have that food. And I started only surviving on dahi and chawal and chini, on rice and curd and sugar. So this is something that we need to look on. And I also remember that the sabji was only aloo and capsicum sabji, aloo and shimla mirch. And there were times when the quality of the sabji was so bad that my stomach was gurgling and growling through gas and bacteria for quite a long time. So these are very important things that we need to check up on regularly, because if cyclists are practicing at such extreme levels, their food has to be at excellent, of excellent quality and excellent variation for the athletes. All right, so just asking, I'm asking you to ask yourself, how many of you have done competitive cycling, especially for the coaches? This would help. How many of you have done cycling at state level for 3 years or more? At national level or at international level? So why I am asking you this question is, it's very important to understand what your trainee is going through. So if you understand what the trainee is going through, how her muscles are performing, underperforming, or exhausted, then you will be able to either change or modify the training. So my story to share over here for you is, this was when my dad was training Armin. And every early morning they would go for practice and dad would be on the scooter and Armin would be on the cycle. And dad would get so charged every morning and he would say, faster, RPM badao, and sprint faster. And no, your sprint is too short. It has to be longer. And it went on and on and on. And he wanted that cadence. And there was a point of time when Armin just got really annoyed and said, Dad, you are on the scooter and I am on the on the cycle. How do you know what my body is going through? You have no idea. So my dad understood that point, and he said, I agree completely. And that is when he decided to start cycling competitively at the age of 42. And he went for practice with Armin on the cycle, and he still made her cry by going faster and faster and faster. This is a point I would like to touch because it's regarding women and cycling. So cycling during menstruation. Now, it is definitely proven that exercise helps to ease the discomfort of menstrual cramps caused during this period. But there are, it affects different people differently. There may be some of them who some discomfort, little discomfort. There may be some who have extreme discomfort, and there may be some who hardly have any discomfort at all. The ones who hardly have any discomfort are extremely lucky. So maybe for the ones who have a lot of discomfort, you can take a pain reliever to ease the pain and discomfort. But keep in mind that there are a lot of substances that are banned by the UCI. So you need to be sure that you do not take any of those banned drugs, be it for any reason, even if it is for asthma or if it is for a headache or if it is for a stomachache, you need to be sure that you're taking something that is permitted. Make sure, women and coaches, please make sure to eat more during this particular period of your month. Listen to your body. There are times when your body is extremely fatigued during menstruation and you feel you cannot push your legs. Definitely take a day off. It's not that kind of, you have to go on, because sometimes rest is better than pushing yourself, fighting yourself in all odds. So that one day of rest may actually help you go longer than just fighting through it. So listen to your body. It's very important. And a very story to share over here. Basically, I always pushed my body beyond my capacity, pushed it beyond its fatigue levels. Whereas on the other hand, I noticed later on that Fateh Jung, he always listened to his body. And I used to find it odd. I would say that, don't you feel you're missing a session? And he said, no, I'm not feeling up to the mark today. And he said, I think it'll be better if I take rest rather than fall ill in the long term. And he would listen to his body. And yes, I think it's important to keep your cyclists also thinking and understanding their body, understanding the training schedule, the goals, everything. Keep talking and keep questioning and keep thinking with your trainees. The coach really needs to keep in mind the consideration that this affects women differently. So, women and cycling, yes, things have changed, definitely. So many years since I cycled now, and things have changed. Accommodation has got better, and the amount of cycles that are available to national athletes is very good. The equipment has definitely kind of gone at a very higher level, and we have a lot more participation in races, but challenges exist because we have to keep getting better. Potential in our country exists. Potential for girls. And women and girls with grit and determination also exist. So if the visibility can increase, the possibility of the sport will also increase. And with that, I am done with my talk. And if there is any kind of questions, I would be happy to try and answer them for you.
Thank you very much, Jasmin.
Thank you.
Listening me?
Yes.
Okay. So I think this is not the story of you. You are the mentor of the cycling. This is the story of all the Indian cyclists. Maybe he is a boy or girl, maybe male or female, and the young and the old. So all the person are going through all the hardships at that time, in the
Absolutely.
1980s and the 90s, that time in 30 years back. So all person are go through with the hardships. So now I can request, I have the some more people I am going to be look there. Madam Ambrish is there, Madam Manoti Mahapatra is there. So after a long time I see the Manoti madam. So I request her. She is also Arjun Awadi of same as the Armin. So I request Manoti Mahapatra kindly say a few words. Uh, Hello. Jasmine, kindly stop
Unmute.
the screen sharing.
Okay, all right.
So the other person can also be joined with us with open
Yes.
the mic. Unmute yourself. Please, all the
Yes.
people unmute yourself. One by one, please unmute yourself.
Hello.
Yes.
Can you hear me? I'm Minoti Patra.
Yes, yes, ma'am. Yes. Kindly speak.
Uh, can you hear me?
Yes, we can
Yes,
hear
yes,
you.
madam. Yes. Please speak.
Very good afternoon to all. And this is a very nice thing that Jasmine has told about women and cycling, and very nicely put up all the factors before and after. I just want to mention here, she has joined in 76, I hope, and I joined before that, okay, in the year 69. And so to say, 50 years back, when nowadays people talk about women empowerment and all these things. I think 50 years back, it was already started, but very slowly, very slowly. And the cycling is a very costly in that time also, now also. And I am very sure that Jasmine, the way she has put up, there are talents are there. And only thing, they should be nurtured properly, and there should be no difference between girls and boys. So that the girls will get scope to participate in different national events, and they should go out for international events. I was feeling very bad because in our time, team was not going outside. Even if I was the national champion for 8 years, only once I had gone. That too only Sri Lanka. And I don't know what was happening, why they were not sending the girls team. Maybe that same mindset the girls cannot do. But the time has changed, the mindset is also being changed. I'm very hopeful that our girls will do wonders. All the best to all my cyclists, those who are there. Thank you very much.
Thank you, madam, for your good, nice blessings. So, madam, Ambrish is also be there. Can you speak something for the Jasmine and today's session? Please unmute yourself. So
Hello,
today is the
everybody.
ladies session. So I can request all the ladies, coaches, and the listeners and the viewers, please come forward and share some words.
Hello, everybody. This was everything that Jasmine said was also my experience. Yes, it was a difficult time, but also a very exciting time. And we did go through um, a lot of problems with equipment and with training and with traveling. I know that things are better now, and I think that we need to assume that our girl cyclists have excellent potential and expect more from them, give them financial support to go and train and to go for outside abroad for competition. And definitely I think women cyclists will do much better with all that support.
Thank
And
you,
good luck
ma'am.
to all our women cyclists.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. So
Thank
I
you.
have another stalwart cycling woman cycling, Madam Sikha Akram. Sikha Akram, madam, kindly unmute yourself and say some words. We
Yes.
want to listen you.
Hello.
Yes,
Can you hear
madam.
me?
Yes.
What Jasmin says, it is absolutely true. That time, everything was like parts, even the dresses for cycling also not available. I remember at that time we used to wear some American shorts during for the sports. American shorts for the cycling. American, I mean that's a shorts, jean shorts, and it's very painful. After that, when I got the skin suits and skin shorts, I thought it is so comfortable. And what is Jasmine said, the talent is here in India. It's too much talent. We need to just search out and pick them up in the very grassroots level and give them a proper training, a proper food and proper equipment. Then I think we'll get a better result for the India, better result for the India. And one thing, in my time, the cycle parts are not available at all. You have to purchase it, like searching it everywhere. So that's a big problem. Nowadays, I think the parts are a little bit available. If you got the money, you can buy it. But at that time, for a pair of tubular, we have to just run to that shop or run to that fellow who is giving us the the tubular. Okay, and regarding all the talent, if the government take the initiative, nowadays government is taking the initiative. They are taking they're doing that Khelo India, searching all the sports person and all. This much. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, madam. Thank you very much. So we have another Arjun Awadi with us, Mr. Our most senior coach, Shri Amar Singh ji. He can also be interact today with you people. So I request him kindly say 2 words.
Jasmin, you have very well presented the positions at that time when it was there. You know, the facilities were less, but things have improved. Now you must have seen in Delhi, and all facilities have been added, and everybody is being looked after very well now. And had this situation been there at that time, the medal level should have been different at that time. Those girls, you all were well talented, very well doing in, but it was unfortunate that at that time the facilities were not there at that time. Well presented, Jasmin. Well done.
Good. Thank you, sir. So whenever we start this webinar, we have going to be second week, and Mr. Avatar Singh is always be with us, and they can appreciate with us and the zeal and the zest. Now I request him today also he can share some words with you.
Thank you, Jitendra ji. Thank you very much for giving me an opportunity to speak in this stage where all the good cyclists, ex-cyclists are present. Coming to Jasmin's presentation, it was very touchy. It was from the heart, and it entered in our heart, the hardship they went through. And a couple of things I liked most, which she shared. That one is, their parents, especially father, he was more interested in the happiness of their daughters, and he let them choose the sport of their choice. And when they took up that sport, they gathered so much information and more details about that subject, and their daughters improved accordingly. This is how a parent should be or a coach should be. Nowadays, if an athlete is interested in lawn tennis, their parents want them to go for swimming. That is not correct. I mean, the event should be as per the need of their soul, so that the progress is more. Secondly, uh, Jasmine, you mentioned about Shimla camp, and where you did not have much vegetable and any other thing beside capsicum. We have undergone that stage, and that time, that being summer season, no other vegetables were also available in that high altitude. And that time there was one song, "Tu is tarah se meri zindagi mein shamil hai." So whenever the Shimla mirch used to, I mean, it was served to us, we used to sing this song, "Tu is tarah se meri zindagi mein shamil hai." We underwent these things, and to be very honest, to be very realistic, there are fighters and there are brave persons who had roti made of hay, like Prithviraj Chauhan, and he did what he wanted to do. Similarly, one of our Guru Govind Singh, his Fauj used to sleep on the horseback because they did not have time to sleep on the floor because the atmosphere was so adverse, and they used to rescue a lot of females from the grip of Aurangzeb. So things are done in a very odd situations. So I think such things must be very, I mean, it will be, you will remember these things for long, that you had Shimla Mirch for long time. And perhaps that was one of the reason to bear hardship to you and to your stomach, that even by abiding by such low class food, you performed well. That is a good thing. It should be that way only. And that going beyond the limits, you said one more thing very interesting. There, you used to faint sometime, as you mentioned. Yes, there are, I mean, one should undergo that type of situation. I remember when the mile race was there, 1 mile race, it was not meters, it was not that Peter Steyn from New Zealand, from Australia, and Zetopek from Russia and Czechoslovakia, they were trying to bring mile under 2 minutes. It was minutes that, I mean, 1 mile under 2 minutes. And one of the practice session of Fartlek for Zetopek was practice till faintness. He used to count the lamppost, three lampposts fast, 1 lamppost slow, 3. So until he was unconscious. So when he had this unconsciousness, he had better distance. After surpassing that distance, he used to have, this is how the progress is made. I am happy that you underwent this and you attained the success. Thank you very much, Jitendra Bhai. I mean, this is the only thing I
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Utarji. So I have this is the platform given by the Sports Authority of India, and the sports cycling webinar is conducted by the NIS Patiala. So I am seeing the JD sir is also be there in front of me. So he's also from Maharashtra, and he was at that time maybe he was the coach of Jasmin also. So we can also take some views from him. JD sir.
Okay, thank you for the opportunity. It's really very nice to see old faces once again. It gives us some more energy to go on, and I'm sure cycling these days is doing very well under the current management of the CAFI, the various cyclists who have turned coaches and mentors. And it really was good that I could spare some time and enjoy and looking at Jasmin and remembering her mother more, because today Jasmin looks exactly like her mother. Age has caught up on us, but I wish everyone good luck. Anything that I can do ever, please do let me know. Good luck and thank you.
Thank you, JD sir.
Thank you,
so
sir.
I have our teammate, I have the roommate also, and the companion cyclist, now he's looking very energetic, smart in the dress. So you all are understand. Mr. Ajit Singh is also be in front of us. So he's also joining with he's a commandant in BSF. So he's our friend, cyclist, roommate, and all the he knows ins and out of our all the things. So I request him kindly share some words.
Thank you, Jitendra sir. First of all, hello to everybody, and nice seeing so many faces after so long. And yes, time and age has definitely caught on us, and but it's lovely. And I just went back in time with Jasmin sharing her stories, because most of the time we were there in the camp together. So whatever she said, uh, I was just reliving those moments. And Avtar Paji, definitely we did sessions where we didn't go till faint wala moment, but definitely the bread omelets and all that Russian coach made us throw out in the sessions. And all that what we had used to have in the morning, he would make us throw up all those things. So, but yes, it's lovely seeing you all. Jasmine, I would like if you would give some advice for the especially girls. Okay, what should they look for? Yeah, what should they so that they don't drop out from sport like cycling and all. Means you covered almost everything, but some advice, some tip. Okay, how should they go about the things which make them drop out?
So I can say this from my experience that the thing is kind of, number one is you have to do it with commitment and passion, what you're doing. It's not possible without that. If you have an interest, you continue it. And at least for children of today, for the women of today, there are enough ways for them to be abreast of what is happening in the in competitive cycling. And they have to see ways and means which will excite them to keep on at it. Because it's always going to be a ragra. You know, we'll say, aaj ragra wala din hai, doing 120 kilometers. So it is, that grind is going to be there. It's not going to be easy at all. There will be days and times when you feel you don't want to do it and you feel like quitting. But if your heart is towards it, if your interest is high in it, they will continue. For that, the thing is the constant, I would say not that expensive equipment, but the equipment should be slightly more approachable at kind of at village level, you know, so that more girls can probably have that feel of riding that bike and participating. Otherwise, there's a lot of work that will have to be done by the federation, by the coaches, to keep that interest and excitement and motivation on in the events. Also kind of having a lot of races. When you have a lot of races, you can at least have a chance to select and choose. And it's not necessary. Sometimes you are not in your best form for that particular race. If you have very few races and you cannot show your best, then it is highly disappointing. So the more races you have, I think the number of races has to increase for the possibility of visibility. That, according to me, would help people continue. Otherwise, it's a lost and forgotten thing. You feel, I mean, I'm going nowhere with it. But if they start seeing that there is some sort of kind of road ahead, it probably will help them continue much beyond just their initial years.
Thank you, Jasmine. Thank you, Jasmine. Thank you, Ajit. You are looking very smart यार. आज आप ड्रेस में decorated dress में smart लग रहे हो. Good. So we are proud of such type of the persons, all the persons, and now the thank you for, before going to be close this session, now I have another stalwart, our senior cycling coach, Mr. Jagdev Singh is also be present here. So before closing this session, I extend my request her, please say some words.
Thank you, Jitendra. Are you listening my voice?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Thank you, Jitendra. It was very good presentation by Jasmin, and she has spoken on how to deal with women riders, how to deal with women cyclists. She has spoken very well, and coaches should keep in mind that while they are training, they must consider this difference between men and women, because women are in smaller internal organs, I think, and skeleton also, their muscular strength is also less than the men. They should make different groups, etc. She has spoken well on this. As per her experience in cycling, she is experienced cyclist. She has done very well. Now, whatever she has spoken, she gave some very good information about her present at that time. She did cycling. Jasmin Arethna was my batchmate at that time. Jasmin came just late after that. And both the sisters, they have performed very well. And it is due to their parental support, their father's support, their mother's support. They have done very well in cycling. And it is lesson for other girls also. Armin won silver medal at Asia level. It is great achievement by her, and her father also, mother also. They have given great encouragement and also back support in equipment, everything. So it was very nice presentation. Best wishes to Jasmin, and thank you, Jatinder. Thank you all. Thank you.
इस वेबिनार को, इस टुडेज सेशन को क्लोज करने का बिल्कुल भी मेरा मन नहीं है, तो आई वांट टू बी एक्सटेंडेड, बट द ड्यू टू द टाइम रिस्ट्रेंट्स हमें दिस इज द वंडरफुल सेशन. मैं ये नहीं कहना चाहता कि इसको हम खत्म करें, मेरा मन भी नहीं है इसको खत्म करने का. और आई अगेन थैंकफुल टू ऑल द our ex-cyclists, our stalwarts, our Arjunawadis, and the senior coaches and the cyclists. So thank you very much for joining us. Thank you again. Good day. So thanks, lot of thanks to joining us.
Keep inviting.
Thank you everyone so much for being here to hear my story. And
thank you, Jasmin.
It's kind of.
Thank you, JD sir. Thank you, Jagdev sir, Tar sir.
Keep inviting.
I can see Manoti Mahapatra madam. आपको काफी देर के बाद after the Commonwealth Games आज आपसे मुलाकात हो रही है मैडम.
Thank you very much.
JD Patel, I have seen a long time back at Pune.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it looks nice to see him. And Manoti Mahapatra also. So very good to see them.
All after long.
Amandeep, I see the Amandeep is also be there. Amandeep, good.
Yes.
Hello.
Also there.
So many person is with us. So once again, thanks Lord. Thanks. You should spare some time for us and joining the us. Thank you very much. Good day.
Thank you
So I close
for
the session.
organizing such a nice program. Thank you, Jasmin. Whatever you told, really, it is very true and true to our lady cyclist life. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye to you all.
Thank you.